Hello, my name is Connie. Welcome to MzansiOz Diary. So we're going to continue with this breaking because there's a lot of things to unpack in the breaking that it was so controversial for Rachel. I'll give you a history of breaking so you can understand why the outrage was so huge, especially from the Black American Black community globally and Latino community. Why the way in which Rachel performed this breaking was so outrageous and so insulting. It's actually intertwined with the struggles of this community, and it also, very importantly, it serves as a protest, identity, and pride from those community, from the Black and Latino community as a whole. So this outrage was really swift and hard. And there are people now are saying that it shouldn't actually be there in the next Olympic because it is a appropriation of the Black culture, and because it's so problematic in that way, because it doesn't. The even outrage even came very swiftly when to learn that even Rachel went over and got a PhD at Macquarie University studying cultural studies in breakdancing. That was even more outrageous that she actually had to do a PhD in cultural studies in breakdancing. Okay, so because the way she dances, it doesn't actually provide any respect and understanding of the origin and significance of breakdancing in the context of the history and social aspect of it. Okay, so the failure to acknowledging the roots of the Black and Latino community and the disrespect in the way in which she actually danced. Like I said, some of the moves looked like she was drunk. It just did not have any respect to it. And then the outrage was swift. And I know people said, they laugh. Yes, you can laugh at it, but there is serious implication around this stuff in here. That is, it's more likely around the issue that I said before when I was talking about Adichima, about the story about Adichima, that when I said, no, actually it's not about xenophobia, that this is about, cultural differences and South African wanting to safeguard the culture. The culture is not going to be commodified, okay? And because the problem when you actually do this stuff like appropriation of other people's culture, you don't do it really well and you don't provide any credit to those people who actually created this form, is that it's running a risk of actually depriving those communities with a potential socio-economical opportunities, and so they can profit from that culture, from the art that they've created themselves. When you actually allow other people, mostly the dominant society, to actually get into your culture, and then they can commodify and benefit out of that culture, and while your community are deprived, are living in poverty. So, you know what I mean? That is the impact of appropriation on the broader scale, when you look at, because in this channel we talk about a lot more things, even about socio-economic status, and also we talk about businesses, how it actually boils down into business, the business of culture, how you go out there and present your culture. There's a potential for people to see your culture and then they will like to go and visit your community. There's an increase in tourism in that culture because of how those people to explore that culture in a way that it's respectful. But when you have it in a way that it was disrespectful for that culture, as Ray Gunn's performance of this significant breaking, which is so huge in the Black and Latino community globally, is dancing. Okay, so Yeah, it's so bad. So now let's go and have a listen at Anamias about what she said in relation to Rachel's book.
She is the best breakdancer female that we have for Australia.
So, as you have heard from Anamias, yeah, sometimes always best to actually not, if you don't know history, the context of something, it's always best to dodge the question and be like the politician. Don't say anything. No comment. Talk about other athletes like the 18 gold medals or whatever medals. Just dodge the question. Don't answer it because now I'm gonna have a look around and check whether she is indeed the best breakdancer for Australia. We're gonna play a clip for that is performed by Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people doing breakdancing. So now let's look at Molly, Big L Molly. So Big L Molly, she lost to Rachel to represent Australia at Olympics. So let's watch her.
am very grateful for Rachel, because I think what she has done for breakdancers and female breakdancers in the future generations will not be really appreciated for decades to come.
Yeah, appreciate it. I don't think so. No. More likely, like, appropriated the culture and actually made mockery of the culture. That's what she did. However, let's actually move on and hear what the New Yorker thought about this.
When I first heard that breakdancing would be an Olympic event this year, I thought it was a joke. And then I found out that it was serious. And I was thinking to myself, well, we just celebrated 50 years of hip hop last year. To have breakdancing as an Olympic event, that should like be a marker of just how far we've come as a community. Lo and behold, the event starts. The clips I saw were a complete disgrace. It was a disgrace to Black people. It was a disgrace to hip hop. It was a disgrace to New York City. I hope they never do that again. They had these people coming out from all over the world, dressed up like extras from You Got Served, and these extra baggy sweatsuits, do-rags, and fitted caps. Like, it looked like a parody. It looked like Malibu's Most Wanted. They had these people rolling on the floor, just flopping around like fish out of water. What were the requirements? Why did nobody call the Showtime kids? They would have put on a good show.
Yes, as you have heard, this is how most of the Black community felt about Rachel's performance. Okay?
Listen. Not a fish out of water. Listen, according to Roots, though, while there was no shortage of laughter and jokes in the Black community after the debut of the breaking in Paris Olympics, there was just as many critics who had smoke for the competition, specifically surrounding the performance of Australian B-girl, air quotes y'all, Rachel Reagan, who, after learning of her background, check this out. Some found it disrespectful and a mockery of an art that Black people originated. It was even more offensive after people learned that she has a PhD in cultural studies and breakdancing and hip-hop culture, and is a lecturer at, I guess this is Macquarie University in Sydney, Australia. That's according to the Root. One user went on to say, "My heart breaks for Black and brown people who originated the sport, fought for its acceptance only to see this white Australian purposely mock it during the Olympics debut."
You know, sometimes things that we do, it's so much about the context, it's so much about his history, it's so much about just the performance. So much, you know, when you actually understand the nuances and the stuff, you know, most of it, people are making a lot of these videos about, you know, laughing towards this. But, you know, it is very much a disrespect of that performance. It was so disrespectful, you know, for the community that actually started this breakdancing. And they're happy that it's not going to be there in the next Olympic, because they don't want their culture to be represented in such a negative way.
I hope Reagan feels every backlash. She is an embarrassment, and so are people who allowed her to compete. That was on X, of course. Another user wrote this on the same platform. Academics who know nothing about the world of breakdance are trying to defend what they truly don't understand. I've followed breaking internationally for over a decade. Reagan's performance was terrible and would have been banned in local competitions, not just the Olympics. This user posted the question, if you love breakdancing, why would you go out of on a world stage and make it look less than legitimate by doing the sprinkler and kangaroo hopping? I'm confused. So she didn't do all of that in the Olympics trial. It's just not in the spirit of breaking to be banned and not care. Listen, I want to stop right here and tell people, first of all, I got a lot of problems with this. This is what happens when people try to mainstream things that were never meant to be mainstream. People that know anything about hip-hop is a protest art. It isn't.
Yes, that's what I said to you. It's a protest art. It is actually a protest. It's about a protest identity and pride. That's what this is. Breakdancing. It's from the hip hop world. And yeah, if you understand the history, then you would understand the outrage.
I think that Rachel Gunn, aka Ray Gunn, started watching the movie Who Got Served, watched all of it, and only watched the beginning of Cool Runnings and was like, I can do this in the Olympics. Like, she got the wrong message from the wrong movies about blackness. She went there, made a mockery of something that had just prevailed as a sport, something coming on the heels of the 50th anniversary of hip hop, which is actually a big subculture in a lot of places in the world. We were just talking about the Middle East and Africa. Breakdance is a huge art form because of exactly what you said, Mayor Robinson, is the idea of the subculture, anti-culture, breaking social construct, and fighting the power. That's why it's become such a huge art form in the rest of the world. So she went up there, made a mockery of it. She did move. She made me feel like I could be in the Olympics next year if that's anything. Also brought a lot of highlight to breakdancing overall because more people started looking at breakdancing. I do wonder where the Jabberwockies and B2K kids were. Why didn't we have them up there? But overall, as much as I had fun with what happened, I do understand how it made fun of an art form that we should all love.
Yeah, and I think also, man, and while we know Black Twitter creativity and they got laughs out of this, I want people to understand that Black people have made a living. Black people in America specifically, and not just in America, Black people in general, as a part of oppression, have found a way to smile about things that are funny. And I would tell people, I deal with this outside of Olympic, outside of creative. You can't be creative with something that's not yours when you run this ball from its roots. And I felt absolutely frustrated by this entire process. And we've already seen that in LA 2028, breakdancing will not be making a return. I guess because, as Michael said in Roos, I think, that we have an overt abundance of exploiting Black people and Black culture in this country in a way that we don't need to do it in the Olympics and put it on display for the world to see.
I think that Ray Gunn is the hot tour girl of breakdancing. And we need to stop making stupid people famous. Let's stop doing that. Let's do that. Not as just a culture and a community, but overall globally. Stop making stupid people famous. And while I did have a big laugh, I will say that wasn't anything.
Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please consider subscribing if you like this content, and also press the like button and the bell so you know when I post a new video. Have a lovely night. Bye for now.
Things and so on, but how is it translated